That's right everyone, Dragon Ball Super the Manga Chapter 87 is out and, yes indeed, it's the end. But boy, Toyotaro is not playing around anymore. What am I referring to? Is the finale of the Granola saga, with not just a simple resolution going down here, no. Instead, we got the conclusion of something, a fake out, and a random but yet not random person showing up. And then a very simple conclusion. After 20 months or so, we are done with this saga. And I will provide my quick thoughts at the end of this video. But do tune into our stream discussion later today, or up top if it's after then. Haverock and I have plenty to say about this particular entry and the conclusion to this arc, and we would like to share our thoughts with you. Where we last left off, Gas had just about shown off his ultimate power, and reduced his lifespan to the point where he only had a few days left or so to live. He was going to go down swinging, and both Goku and Gas were going to be the ones to do it. But then Granola chose to wake up, and ultimately, it saved the saga from being completely pilfered from him, and it turned out to be a group effort that took down the strongest heater. That was pretty much the only way it could have really worked out, unless it was a solo Granola. We got the return of Goku's Ultra Big Spirit thing, still not explained how that works. Granola shot his load at Gas, stop it. And Vegeta, well, he got stuck in his own special way. Carry on. After a lot of fighting and speculation about what was going to happen, it looked like Gas was pretty much done. Usually after about 5 pages of showing a particular blast connecting and then going BOOM, it tends to reflect that we're pretty much done here. Or are we? Let's sit back and do a little quick look at Chapter 87. And I hope that you were good and avoided spoilers, because I think this was probably one of the most leaked chapters going. But at this point I'm kind of tired about lamenting about that. So Chapter 87 is pretty much Goku and Vegeta winning, but then the plot says, not yet. And then Gas turns the heat up again, and is basically a walking mummy at this point. Good lord, Toyotaro! Is he trying to scare us or flexing his skills? Damn! Monito dies, but does he really? Whilst Gas begins to literally crumble, especially after having seen his face for the first time, and then his brother making an about face and legging it. That is until Frieza shows up, dealing with him and Gas, and captures the other heaters. Yes, Frieza turned up, finally, him being the thing Elec was dealing with back then, his little errand. Naughty Elec. Hello, monkeys, I'm Black. Don't you mean that you're back? I missed you. Double stomach punch. After showing off, Frieza just leaves, and then the end of the arc carries on, with the Cerulean Dragon Balls being sealed away for good, Granola promising to keep quiet and not bother the plot anymore, and the Saiyans leave to help Beerus open up a pot noodle. Bye, Granola! All in all, this chapter was something else. By all means, this was very much a chapter to remember, and Toyotaro was telling us all that if you want the old school vibes of Dragon Ball Z, you're only gonna get it in the manga, because my goodness, this chapter was intense, like really intense. This is the kind of stuff that could give people nightmares. Feel stuff and generally etch it into your mind for a good long while. If you wanted to go back to the days of the Boo saga and the Cell saga where you saw things that were like, ugh, you're gonna have a good time here. That era of Dragon Ball Z has not been forgotten. It lives on with Toyotaro. But yeah, you're not going to be forgetting this chapter in a hurry, simply because it does everything it can to make you remember. Gas wasn't going to be going down without one last gasp. Clearly everyone's going to be forgetting about him in a year's time, so there's that! And he's only like that because, as Vegeta put it, his power was a curse, and he's now literally a cursed mummy. It was the only thing that kept him going. It really subscribed to my theory that Gas's euphoria and adrenaline of being so powerful, those power-ups, they were really keeping him from feeling the pain and burning that was going on internally because of those power-ups. And the fact that his body was now falling apart and he still didn't really feel that much pain, that was pretty metal. Yeah, Gas was a tool, but he's a cool looking tool, I must admit. In fact, it actually reminded me of Doctor Who. I felt like he had a Cyberman moment here. You know the part where their emotional inhibitors were turned off in like season 2 or something? And they realised the horrors that they truly were, the human subjects? Yeah, that happened to Gas. He looked at himself for the first time since his transformations were acquired and was disgusted at what he saw, kind of afraid. But he had been cast aside regardless, really. He was about to turn to dust. He would fight to the end. And that end came with, of course, Frieza, in his final form no less. And yeah, just one punch, gas is down. But I think I know what you really want me to talk about. Frieza and Black Frieza. What do I think of that? Well, I think it's pretty subarashi. Black Frieza, to me, was the most obvious next evolution of the Golden Frieza form. We all know that it would happen. Frieza training more and more. He had had the taste of it during the time before Resurrection F, and then he trained a little bit more to perfect the true Golden Frieza power. So, naturally, we would then get to another variation of the form. But why black though? Well, I think it's to do with that initial push of Ultra Instinct. My belief is that Golden Frieza came around because Frieza was wanting to make fun of the Super Saiyan. Well, if you can go golden monkeys, then so can I. I am glad though it's not a shiny colour like platinum or titanium, but black, like his evil heart. You know that Frieza is a villain, and despite him being a little bit more reasonable than he used to be back in Dragon Ball Z, he is still Frieza. But what also makes him like Frieza is that he likes to show off. He could have easily one-shotted Goku and Vegeta there and then and be done with it, but where's the fun in that, he would say. Not to mention he wasn't there to op the Saiyans anyway. He was there on Serial for business with Elec. And then that business went sour, and so he off the heater, like the coward he is. Elec, by the way, not Frieza. It was a little sad that Granola didn't get to be the one to take out Elec, but remember, Granola doesn't kill people, no matter how despicable they are. That's not his style, despite being a bounty hunter. No, Frieza was the one to do it, offing his greatest rival when it comes to Enterprise. The Heaters have now been effectively disbanded because of Gas and Elec joining the Choir Invisible up there, and Oil and Maki being forced to work for Frieza. I am a little sad that the pair didn't get to live out their lives on their own, but in the midst of this tempestuous chapter, it was the most likely outcome. Frieza is here to show off his 10 years worth of training. You think 4 months was effective? Wait until you get a decade. Then he could spook the monkeys, and then wait for the right moment to pounce on them, or to remind them to get on with their own training, or else they might lose their crown. Honestly, I feel like it's the latter at the moment. I don't think Frieza is planning to destroy the Saiyans just yet. He needs them to keep getting stronger. He wants a yardstick. I also have the idea he's being more and more like his father as he grows up. After all, he spent 10 years training, so he's 10 years older. In that time, his attitude may have changed. Not to the scale of stopping being bad or anything like that, but at least weighing up what is good business rather than sheer anarchy like he used to do. He may be heading towards lawful evil, maybe? At least in terms of his day-to-day work. This is a more mature, powerful, and calculating Frieza we're seeing. If anything, you could say he's now a little bit cooler. Granola has vowed to help repair Serial to how it was. Monito has also vowed to seal the Cerulean Dragon Balls away for good. Since he didn't make them, he probably can't destroy or deactivate them since he's now a caretaker host for Torombo. And now Goku and Vegeta have to go back and train even harder with Whis and Beerus. I suppose this is just another justification for them to train more and more, since we had a little bit of a brick wall, figuratively speaking, for them in terms of where to go after Moro. But now we have Frieza knocking around with this brand new and epic power-up that we did not see coming. Can you imagine Matte Black Frieza? Oh! That would look badass. And I think it's going to look even better once the artists out there get a wind of this. Trev, you better get on this. And probably will ease the pain also of those really bad Fortnite skins for Goku and Vegeta. Oh, that Bandai and Epic Games collab really got lucky with the game integration. They really did a lot with that. Had it just been those skins only, oh dear. So where does this leave the manga? Well, the arc itself, in my opinion, suffered from bungee cord levels of pacing. But the story itself was a refreshing little side story, which happened to drag on for about 20 chapters of 50 pages nearly every single time. But hey, it was a tragic side story for Granola, who desperately sought power and then had to pay the price for it. New powers for Goku and Vegeta, and now Frieza too. The three big hitters of the series now have new transformations and techniques to carry us forward into the next part of Super, for the next arc, which will most likely be a larger villain in terms of scope, rather than kept to maybe just one planet. Will we see Granola again? Well, probably not, but oh well. At least Monito has someone to help him run the Bardock fan club. And oh yeah, he can heal fully now. Great time, Monito. And also, it makes me think, why didn't Goku help heal, since he can heal, kinda? At least as well as the Namekian could initially. But when it comes to what Toyotaro can offer, I feel that this is the artist making a very clear and open point to all of the doubters and naysayers that he means business. He is prepared to go places that Toriyama probably wouldn't go, or would never even think to go, based on the graphic nature of some scenes, or the level of twists and surprises that the kid can come up with. Yeah, some of you may think that Frieza turning up at the last minute was a bit of a cheap shot, but it isn't really. Elec called Frieza there to trick him and then be curb stomped by gas. Little did he know about the extra training that the Emperor had been doing, and also that he had been in another dimension when the wish was made, so... Ah, those glorious technicalities. Strongest in the universe? Well, I wasn't there, so it doesn't count, said the Emperor. These moments show that Toyotaro and Toriyama do think things through, and you do have to pay attention for those little foibles and additions to really make full sense of things. Again, I would recommend going back and rereading the whole saga to see it in one go. It probably would flow better. We plan to do so and give you our final review very soon. But for Toyotaro, we've seen moments of sudden shocks in the past few arcs, but now those pale in comparison to the stuff we've seen in Chapter 87. But they won't be animated, so you can only get this level of darkness from the manga. This is a marketing ploy. So, the heaters. They're pretty much gone now. Were they a good addition to the character roster? Yeah. It was good to see the antithesis of Frieza in not just name, because Frieza, heater, but in action too. Information is a very good component of their composition and something good to use. If you can't beat them in strength, use your noggin. The fact that other gangs can do well in this galaxy too, other than Frieza, shows there is competition, which is healthy, but we are reminded that Frieza is still the kingpin. Elec started off quite good, but his descent into desperation was kind of unfortunate and tragic. When things are going his way, he's pretty good as a leader. But the moment a snag crops up, yeah, he falls apart. He is prepared to throw his family under the bus because of it. And poor Oil and Marky, I really do feel that their endpoint was a little bit unfair and rushed, but they're at least alive, I guess. But that begs another question. Where the Hiffle is 7-3? Are we going to have to wait another few months to find out where he is? Or is he going to be left forgotten? My bet's on the latter at this point. And one last thing. Goku and Vegeta. Where does this leave them? Is True UI or Ultra Ego the stronger power? Well, put simply, it really doesn't matter one single iota at the moment, since Black Frieza is a thing. True UI helped out with Gas, and Ultra Ego Vegeta is a truly formidable addition to the roster, especially when he can actually get it to work properly. But neither of them are perfect right now, and they have now fallen behind by a decade thanks to Frieza's discovery of a time chamber. What we will get is them training some more, getting better at what they have, and either we will have them facing off against Frieza again in the fullness of time, or maybe some other big bad comes in that could help try and bring them all together, because it would spell doom for the entire cast. We shall find out in October, since Toyotaro is taking a 1-month break, so no chapter next month, folks. And oh yeah, Goku got the Scouter from Monito that has Bardock's voice in it. Are we going to see a little bit more development about Goku finding more about Bardock and Gine? I think so. This would be a really cool little mini arc to have, you know, like 3 or 4 chapters or so. Him asking King Kai about Bardock and Gine. Did they go through the check-in station or up in the other world? Can he actually meet Gine perhaps? Well, maybe, in a nice little side story. Would it make sense to have it as a full arc? I don't think so, but it would be nice to explore. Just not in the middle of another saga, Goku. Just give it some time. But what did you folks think of this chapter and saga? Tune in later, or here for this in-depth review of the chapter or one of my other discussions, and we shall be back with one of these in October. Catch you later!